Hello, in this tutorial I will explain how does it work the page editor. So to do that, let's log in our framework, choosing the advanced workspace and some correspondent projects. And we have here the default page that comes with the default projects in our demo, so we just click in that page. Or we go through the menu and we click Edit Visual Workspace. So the focus of this tutorial is how to explain to you this editor here that is behind this pop-up. So every time that you open a page, if that page is empty, automatically you're gonna have this pop-up here asking you if you want to draw that page through an empty canvas, which is the same then say through the code workspace, or if you want to do it through the content editor, where you can basically browse the templates, where you can import or install new templates and choose templates, and then after you do that, automatically it will show this editor here, which basically you can choose the same template through these options here, or go back to the previous pop-up by clicking in that icon. Okay, so what do we have here? So we have a top bar with the identification of the workspace where you currently are. We currently are in the visual workspace. Then we have another option saying, okay, what is the template that you want to use in this page? It's an internal template that you have installed in here in the templates folders, or it's an external template. If it is an external template, you need to select if it is a template from other projects, or if it is a template from a block that you have created before, or if it is a template from an URL, a remote URL from the web, or if it is a WordPress template, which currently we don't have any WordPress installed. So let's just choose internal templates, where in here it shows the list of the current internal templates that we have. Then it appears the identification, the page that we are editing in here. So we are currently editing the indexed page. Then it shows a bunch of icons here, which allows us to see the drawing area, so our page in a desktop view or in a phone view, where we can just put here the corresponding sizes, or we can zoom in, zoom out, or we can have a bunch of other options here to show the borders, to hide it. So basically I'll explain this later, because in here every time in this bar you have widgets that you can drag and drop to the regions. So I have a tutorial explaining that when you are editing templates, it's different from editing pages. When you are editing templates, you can drag and drop widgets everywhere. In the page you can only drag widgets in the specific regions of that templates. And when you are dragging something here, then in this option you can show with borders or without. So if I hide the borders, it's still here. So let's just delete it. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so then I can view the project page, or I can save it. And then I have a bunch of other options here that are very useful too. Then below we have a right tab, which basically has some widgets that I can just drag and drop to my correspondent regions of my page, or I can see the layers that shows basically by region. So each region, according with the files that I had selected here, it show me the structure of the template. And then I have the modules, blocks, and the DB drivers widgets that I can just drag and drop to the specific regions too. And then I have my editor or my canvas area, where basically it shows the corresponding template that I have selected here with the corresponding regions that that template has. In here, in each region, I can just type free HTML, where I can then I have a what you see what you get editor here that allows me to do a bunch of things. Or I can just drag and drop widgets inside to here. Then if I click in the specific widgets in here, automatically it opens the properties of that widget, where I have a bunch of things that I can change in each widget according with the widgets that I drag and drop. And then below here at the bottom bar I have the main settings, which basically it shows according with the template that I select. It allows me to edit that specific template through the visual editor of the templates. I have a tutorial explaining how does this editor works, and additionally it shows, currently is not showing because this template doesn't have any, but if this template had some CSS or some JavaScript files, it will show me here all that files, and it will allow me to edit that files too. Then we have the contents, which basically it shows me the regions that template has with the correspondent information. So currently, if we see here, we just have some widgets already here in the region content, which basically corresponds to this HTML that is here. So I can change here, or I can change directly here. So it's the same action, and if I change here it will replicate in the canvas area. If I do any change here, automatically it will update the code in this field in here. Then it shows too the includes that I have in my page. Currently I don't have any, and the corresponding parameters that I have, that the template has in the inside of the template, and then that I can edit through the page. Currently we don't have any. Then we have the resources, which basically it's a bunch of actions that I can add, sequential actions that I can run one after another one. So I can run this one, and then it runs like this one. So it's like a sequential actions that will be executed, something similar with Zapier, where I have a bunch of actions here that I can select according with the selection. It changed this, and then I can put some name of the correspondent return result. So let's say that I call a business logic service, and that service, what it does is get some data from the database. So in this case I give the name of that return result. So this service will return that data from the database, and will put that data in this variable, which I call items. And so basically what this will do is will create me a resource called items that then I can print in one of these regions through specific widgets in here. So I can print resources in the regions. So this is like a way to get basically dynamic objects or dynamic metadata, and then print it in my page. Then we have the advanced toolbar, which basically has some settings, which basically allows us to make the system faster, to create cache, to parse or not some dynamic objects, parse from the server that dynamic objects, or only do it from the client. So as a bunch of options, each option is explained in here, but basically that's it. So the page editor, what do we have here? We have a top bar, identification of the workspace, then we have our selection of the template that we want to work on, that page it will be. So this editor needs to have a template selected. If you don't want to have a template, then you can go to the code workspace, which is this guy here, which basically you can just go and click code workspace, or go through here and choose different editor and choose empty canvas. If you want to edit a page that has a template, then it's this editor here that I'm explaining. So you choose here the corresponding template, internal or external. Then you have the identification of the page that we are currently editing. Then you have some icons here that allows us basically to help us to edit whatever is happening in the our design area, in the template regions, like zoom in, show the borders, show the PHP code if we have, or hide it, show JS or CSS files or hide it, things like that. Then I can preview the page and other options. Then in my center I have my design area, where I have what you get toolbar, where I can design my own HTML directly, or in the left side I have a bunch of widgets that I can just drag and drop to the correspondent regions and create my own layout too. Additional, besides the widgets, well, the widgets can be the type of simple widgets like HTML widgets, or it could be some modules, blocks or DB drivers that I can just drag and drop into specific regions. Additionals, I can see the layers, where basically in the layers it shows me basically the structure of the widgets or the HTML that are inside of each region that the template has. Then I have, if I click in any widgets, I see the properties of that correspondent widgets, which is a bunch of properties that I can do. I can do a bunch of things in here. And then at the bottom I have a bar called main settings that allows me to edit the current template, see the CSS and JS files that that template has included and edit them. Then I can see the content, which basically the changes that I do through the design area, I can do it through here too. Then I have the resources where I can create dynamic actions or objects and I can give them names that will become resource, and then I can print them in the regions. And then I have the advanced, which basically are advanced options for settings how the system should process this page, like if it should cache it or not, if it should parse that dynamic objects from the resources. So there is a bunch of settings here, and that's it. So thank you very much.